Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you are all doing very well today. So today's practice, I thought we would get into activating our leg muscles a little bit more. Perhaps you've come to a point in your practice where you're noticing that maybe your legs aren't as strong as you want them to be. So today's practice is going to give you an opportunity to strengthen some of those muscles so that they get a little stronger, so that you might start to notice a little bit of strength in those legs. So as always, when we are doing our practice, I do encourage you to take the modifications that work best for you. That's the point of all those tutorials, is for you to find what works best for you. So when we're doing our poses, you may not look exactly like me. And that's not to say that I'm better. You might be at a point in your practice where you are much stronger than me, much more flexible, and you're able to go into some of these poses a lot deeper. The whole point is to try to find what works best for you. Find the modification in these poses where you feel it best for you at that moment. So if we're in a particular shape, or if I'm in a particular shape, and you think that you can comfortably go a little bit deeper, by all means, go a little deeper. If you find that I'm in a particular shape and you're finding it a little bit difficult to hold that shape, take the break. Come out of the pose a little bit. Come out of it completely maybe and take a little shake off. That's when we get our little wiggle jiggles in. Stop for a drink when you need to. The whole idea, again, I keep saying this, is you need to find the modification that works best for you. And we know that it changes from day to day. So please don't go to a point where you're really uncomfortable. So go as far as you need, take the break when you need, and challenge yourself when you need that as well. Yes? All right. So today, let's start on our backs. We won't be there for too long, but again, we always want to start our practice in a shape where we can take at least a few breaths to just kind of let go of everything. So choose how you're going to start. If it's on your back in your traditional Shavasana, remember to extend the legs long in the version that works best for you, and find the arm position that works best for you as well. If you're choosing another position, find comfort, find ease. And we'll just take about 3 or 4 breaths here, just to give your body a chance to release and let go and sink into the space right here, right now. Notice what you notice. Don't be judgmental if the answer is not exactly what you want it to be. Just allow it to be whatever it is today. So try to allow those nice, smooth inhales and exhales. That's what we're looking for, is that smoothness. Because we know when our breath is not smooth, something isn't quite right. It's our body telling us that we need to make an adjustment. So your breath is a very good indication of whether you are pushing too much or not enough. Regardless of how many breaths you have already taken, take one more deep inhale and let it go in your exhale. Invite those small, gentle movements just to wake up the body a little bit. If you're in a sit position, gently, slowly make your way down to your back. And we'll gently bring the knees up into the chest. And once again, just notice what kind of shape you would like right now. Is it a gentle tucking in of the knee? Maybe you'd prefer something a little bit more tighter. You decide, just for a breath or two here. And then shoot the legs up to the sky. And once again, it matters not if your legs are super straight. You're trying to extend the knees straight, but if you're not quite there yet, don't worry about it. Do what you can. We're just investigating how our legs feel today, because we are going to use them a little bit. And this is a nice opportunity just to take a few movements, just to kind of see how the backs of the legs feel, how the front of the legs feel, how your ankles feel, how your feet feel. And we are going to revisit this at the end of our practice, and we'll see if there's a difference. So I'm going to come to stillness just so that I can get one more little move in, because that's kind of what I feel like doing right now. I'm just investigating the back of my legs. And then I'm going to tuck the knees into my chest, and we are going to make our way into tabletop. So do you want to gently rock on your spine and maybe make your way past your knees into your tabletop? And again, we won't be here for very long because I really want to get into the legs very quickly. So again, take the breaks when you need, even if that's not where we are. In your tabletop, tuck the toes under, open up the collarbone with the inhale, and with your exhale, go up into your downward dog, lifting that tail up towards the sky. Now we are going to be here a little bit longer, so take your time to set yourself up. Where do your hands need to be? Where do your feet need to be? And remember, take the break whenever you need. I'm going to go gently into my downward facing dog, moving around a little bit, taking those little wiggle jiggles to find the comfortable space. And then I'm going to start to wag my tail, push a little bit more into one heel down towards the floor, and then alternate with the opposite heel. With this motion of alternating the feet down towards the floor, I notice that I get a different sensation in the backs of my legs, as opposed to taking both of them down at the same time. So I'm just investigating a different way to move around a little bit. And again, trying to keep the spine nice and long. But you might notice that as you're working your legs here, your spine is curving a little bit. Allow that to happen while you're moving. Hopefully it's not too much of a curve. And then when you come to stillness with the legs, go back to lengthening out that spine first, and then notice how far down towards the floor can you actually get your heels. With that little motion of pedaling out your feet, did it make a difference? Were you able to possibly get those feet a little bit closer to the floor? Don't worry if they didn't or if you don't notice. Hopefully today's practice will activate a few of those leg muscles, and maybe it'll come a little closer down to the floor as we progress. So let's just do a little bit of a movement pattern to literally move our bodies. So from downward facing dog, inhale the right leg up towards the sky. And as you exhale, step it through into your high lunge position. Take the inhale to lift the torso, lift the arms into your high crescent lunge. And with your exhale, release the hands back down to the floor, framing the front foot, and step that right foot back to your downward facing dog. Right away, inhale, left leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, try to step it through. Remember, if you have to, help it along. Inhale, torso and arms lift up towards the sky. And with your exhale, release the hands back down to the floor, framing that front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. And once again, pedal out those feet. And notice what you notice. That first lunge position. Was it your best lunge? Maybe yes, maybe no. And as you're pedaling out your feet here, just be aware of the sensations in your legs. We're going to try that one more time. From downward facing dog, from stillness, inhale, right leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, try to step it into your high crescent lunge position. Inhale, torso and arms reach up towards the sky. And as you exhale, frame the front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Right away, inhale, left leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, step it into your lunge position. Help it if you need it. Inhale, torso and arms reaching up towards the sky. And as you exhale, frame the front foot. And this time, step forward to your mountain pose. Hold your fold. Oh my God, I just said mountain pose. Hold your fold for just a breath. And then lift the torso up into mountain pose. From mountain pose, just give yourself a little shake off. Notice if you'd like to change a little bit where your feet position are. Notice if you're leaning forward, leaning back. See if you can get that nice stacked feeling. How close are you to stacking your shoulders over your hips over your ankles? Notice how even are you in both of your feet. We're trying to be nice and even here because we are going to challenge that. So see how even can you be from left to right side. Come to mountain pose. Sturdy mountain pose. Strong mountain pose. Shift your weight slightly into the right leg. And with your exhale, lift that left knee up towards the sky. See if you can get parallel with your thigh, but don't worry if your thigh is a little lower. So notice how you have to shift the weight. Place the left foot back down. How close are you to mountain pose? Right knee lifts up towards the sky. How close to parallel can you get? Back into mountain pose. Feel how you need to shift from two legs to a single leg. Let's go once again. Shift into the right leg. Lift left. Even out into both feet. Then shift into left as you raise right. Shift into mountain pose. Take an inhale here, get long, maybe lift the arms up toward the sky to extend the spine. And this time exhale into your version of chair. Choose your hand position. How far down into your chair can you comfortably get right now? Keep the ribs engaged. Inhale up to mountain pose, your version of mountain pose. Exhale, hinge into your chair. Inhale, shoot up to mountain pose. Exhale into chair. Choose your variation of arms. Mountain pose, chair. Hold in your chair for 3 breaths. Choose your variation, your depth. Are you still breathing? That's going to help you determine which variation you should be in. One more full cycle of breath here. Hang on if you can, break if you need. Keep your chair position, but shift your weight into your right leg a little bit more as you inhale left leg back into Crescent Lunge. I'm going to go without my arms on first row. Take a breath here, and as you exhale, step back into your chair position. How close are you to your chair position? Your optimal chair position for this moment. Hang in there, listen to your breath. Shift the weight into left foot. Inhale, right leg back into your Crescent Lunge. How's your balance? Do you notice that one side is different? Inhale in Crescent Lunge and exhale back into your chair. Are you still with me? Do the best you can. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair, your variation. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. Hold chair. 3 breaths here. Do what you can. What is your variation of your chair? Where are your hands? How is your breath? Do what you can. Find what works best for you right now. One more cycle of breath. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward into your forward fold. Flat back is your inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. You have an option here. Do you want to step back into downward facing dog? Do you want to step back into your plank? Do you need a child's pose? Would you like a vinyasa? I'm going to go for a vinyasa because I'm feeling pretty good right now. So inhale, open up the collarbone. As you exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale up into your back bend. Exhale to lift up back into downward facing dog. Once again, do you need a break? Would you like to pedal out those feet again? Do you need a child's pose? Take about 3 or 4 breaths here and decide where can you catch your breath. If you notice that you can't catch your breath, take a step back from where you are so that you can catch your breath. Maybe you added that vinyasa and it was maybe a little bit too much for you. So take the breather to recover. Take your appropriate movement to recover. One more cycle of breath here. And again, don't worry if your breath is possibly a little faster or a little slower. And then make your way back up into downward facing dog if you've come out of it. And we're going to step forward into our mountain pose. So I'm going to step 1 foot forward, then the other. I'm in my fold. And then I'm going to come up into my mountain pose. And again, in mountain pose, take those little movements. Maybe you want to sway front and back. You'll probably notice I do that a lot. That way I can kind of notice where have I shifted more. And that's my way of redistributing my weight. Sometimes I have too much weight into the heels. Sometimes I have too much weight into the toes. So with me rocking back and forth and maybe even side to side, I give myself an opportunity to even the weight evenly into both feet. One more breath here. If you're still moving, find stillness. And then inhale, arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, fold. Inhale up to the flat back. And exhale into your chair one more time. Notice if your expression of chair here is maybe a little different. Can you get down a little deeper, or do you notice that you have to come up a little higher? Because maybe those thighs are on fire. Maybe you're just warming up and you notice that you're feeling pretty good and you can go much deeper. Can you drop your bum a little bit closer to the floor? Can you do so comfortably? Keep breathing here if you can. Remember all of those things that we talked about in chair pose in a previous tutorial. And I'm talking here a little bit to distract you so that you don't actually notice how much your legs are working. One more breath here. Do what you can. Hang in there if you can. And then here we go. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair, your version. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. Hold your chair. Do the best you can. Remember, take the break if you need, but challenge yourself also if that's what you need. Here we go. Shift the weight into the right foot. Inhale, left leg back behind you. Get into your crescent lunge. Inhale here. And this time, as you exhale, I'm going to drop my hands down, shift my weight forward, and I'm going to step into my right leg into a very easy version of Warrior 3. Maybe that back toe has to tap the floor while I get sturdy and strong, and then maybe I can change my expression. Do what you can. Keep breathing. Notice how that right leg needs to work. Are you still breathing? Take an inhale here. Exhale back into your chair. Both feet hit the floor. How are we feeling? Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. One more like that. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair, and hold your chair. How are your feet? How are your knees? How are your thighs? How are your hamstrings? How are your glutes? Here we go, other side. Shift the weight into the left leg. Inhale the right leg back into your crescent lunge. Be sturdy before you lift the torso and arms. And as you exhale, I'm coming forward with the torso to shift my weight kind of into that left leg. Yes? Because I'd like to step into a version of Warrior 3. Maybe your legs are tired and you have to drag this back foot along the floor because your legs are just on fire. Maybe you're stepping into it without dragging the back foot. Maybe you notice that your legs are really strong, and this version of Warrior 3 is even better than the last one. Hold Warrior 3 for one more breath. Take an inhale, and as you exhale back into that chair, how are those legs? Hold here for 3 breaths. Keep breathing. Do what you can. Maybe you can't last for the 3 breaths. That's okay. Take a break if you need to. Maybe challenge yourself a little bit deeper. Here we go. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. 1 breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor. You have a couple of options here. Are you going to step back to down dog? Maybe that's where you need to go. Maybe pedaling out the legs is what you need here. Maybe you're thinking, no, a plank might feel pretty good. Maybe you're in your plank and you might think, I could really go for another vinyasa. Maybe a modified vinyasa. I'm going to go for a modified one. Inhale, open up the collarbone. Exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale, up into your back bend. And exhale, back up into downward facing dog. And again, once you get into your downward facing dog, notice if you're resting. Or are you struggling? If you're struggling, choose another modification. Take a breather. Now you might be thinking, you know what? I'm done. My legs are on fire. I can't move them. I kind of want to get onto the back into Shavasana right away. And if that's what you need, you go right ahead. Or would we have a little bit more effort to do just a teeny weeny little bit more work? I'm going to offer a little bit more work, but if you're done, then you're done. Take the break. I'm going to come back into downward facing dog. I'm going to see how my legs can help me. Have they loosened up? Maybe yes, maybe no. From downward facing dog, inhale the right leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, step it forward into your crescent lunge. Lift the torso with the inhale. And with your exhale, step into your chair. How close were you? Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. Inhale, mountain. Are you getting wobbly? Exhale, chair. One more. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. Hold here. 3 breaths if you can do it. Choose the modification that's going to work for you right at this moment. Can you sink a little deeper, or do you need to come out a little bit? Where are your sensations? One more cycle of breath here. Take an inhale, exhale, forward fold. Flat back is your inhale. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog. Full cycle of breath here just to set yourself up. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Remember, help it if you need. Inhale, up to your crescent lunge. And exhale into your chair position. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. This is your last little bit. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. One more to release. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair. This is your last little bit. Are you going to hold your chair here? Let's challenge our balance just a teeny weeny little bit. Shift the weight into the right leg. just to lift the left foot up off the floor. Don't go anywhere, just lift. Challenge the one leg. Back to both feet on the floor. Still chair pose. Shift the weight into the left leg. Just try to raise the right foot off the floor. Maybe it's just the heel off the floor because the legs are too much on fire. What have you got? Back to chair pose. Last little bit. Sink down a little bit further if you can. Continue breathing. One more full cycle of breath. You can do it. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, forward fold. Oh, yeah. Release here. Don't worry if your forward fold is not the deepest forward fold here. Use this fold here to release the legs, to release the effort from that chair. So notice if you want to do a little sway side to side, something that's going to release the work effort, release the tension in the legs. And I'll let everything just release. And then very gently make your way back into your tabletop, however way you need to at this point. And then again, here in tabletop, do you need a little bit of movement? Do you need a little sway side to side? And we're gradually going to come to a sit position with our legs extended in front. So again, once you get those legs extended, you might notice that here you're moving really slow because maybe those legs are complaining to you a little bit. So let's see if we notice anything different in our legs. Let's try to come to a nice long spine. So as you sit, trying to stack your shoulders over your hips, do you notice that you need a bend in the knee? That's fine. If you need it, take the bend. If you can, see if you can extend those legs straight, but again, not at the compromise of curving my spine. So I'm going to go for a gentle little bend in the knee to get my spine long. And then with my exhale, I'm going to come forward with the collarbone towards the toes in a little bit of a forward fold. I'm not going to go to my deepest expression because I'm going in and out of this 2 more times. Notice where you are. Notice the sensations in the legs. Take an inhale to straighten out that torso a little bit. Open up the front side. And now again, as you exhale, notice if you'd like a different expression with the legs. Try to keep the toes pointed up towards the sky. That's going to give you possibly a little bit more sensation on the backs of the legs. Again, I'm trying to keep this relatively active, but not super crazy active. I'm just seeing maybe I created some space in my legs. Take an inhale to lift out of it. And with your exhale, go into your deepest expression of your seated forward fold. Again, trying to draw the belly in. Trying to get the legs straight, finding where you need to be right now. Are you still breathing? Soften the shoulders. Notice your breath. Try to stay here for another 2 to 3 breaths. Noticing what your legs feel like. Allowing that breath to smooth itself out just in case it got a little bit too crazy. So you are kind of letting your body know, okay, we're kind of cooling it down here. We're doing less work effort. And then inhale to lift the torso, release the legs, and just notice, what do you need to release the legs? Do you need a little wiggle jiggle? Maybe you'd like a little gentle sway from side to side with those knees. Maybe you don't need any movement here and you've already made your way to your back. I'm just going to take a little bit of movement here, maybe another breath or two. And then I'm going to make my way down to my back. And before I get super comfy in my finish position, I'm going to draw my knees into the chest and then extend those legs up to the sky again, just like we started. With the legs lifted in the version of legs up the wall, do you notice anything different in the legs? Do they feel the same? Do they feel too tired? Maybe you notice that, oh, you know what, I may have been able to push it a little further. And that's okay. Sometimes it's hard to judge if we went too far, not enough. As we constantly try to find that perfect spot, it's hard to find it because it's constantly moving. So it's that journey of movement. That's our yoga practice. What movement did I have today? Where did my body take me today? If the legs are still up in the air, softly bring those knees back into your chest. And then decide where you are going to finish your practice. What is going to be your resting space, your finish pose? Is it going to be your traditional Shavasana? Is it going to be maybe a variation of your Shavasana? Maybe your legs need a little different shape today because of all the work that we did. You find where you're going to be able to rest. And just like at the beginning of our practice, we always want to take a few breaths at the end of our practice to let go. To let go of the work effort. Today's practice was a little bit more concentrated in the legs. So allow a few breaths for your leg muscles to relax. You might notice that it's going to take you more than a few breaths. If you fired them up a little bit too much, 1 or 2 breaths isn't going to be enough to release them. Do the best you can to soften, at least soften. You may not be 100% released, but at least soften those leg muscles. Release the work effort. And as we rest here for about 5 breaths, notice if there's a shift. Do you notice a shift in your muscles? Do you notice a shift in how you feel? Is there a shift in your mindset? And it's not so much you have to be here or there or wherever. It's being mindful of where you are. Was the practice beneficial for you? Do you think there is going to be some benefit from your movement today? Are you happy that you took the time to do some work for your body? The movement that we do for ourselves is self-care, self-love, and we should never feel bad about that. We need the movement to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others if we need. It will help us in the rest of our day or the rest of the week. Taking care of ourselves is very important, especially in these times that we find ourselves in. So whether you were able to do just a few minutes of today's practice, or if you were able to follow along with me for the entire time, give yourself thanks for doing something good for your body. Without moving just yet, start to deepen your breath. A little bit deeper inhales, letting it go in your exhales. And then start to invite those small movements. What do you need right now? What movement is going to make you feel better? And slowly and gently make your way up into your sit position. And just notice, coming into your sit position, how do those legs feel? Do they feel better? Are they on fire? Notice what you notice. And as you have one more cycle of breath here in your sit position, we'll finish our practice here, honoring the light within. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for joining me in today's practice, where we worked our leg muscles a little bit to try to strengthen them so that they can do things for us. I don't know about you, but I use my legs every day, so I actually want them to be pretty strong so that I can do what I want to do, whether it's walking, running, golfing, walking the dog, whatever it is. Usually your legs have something to say about that activity. So today's practice hopefully strengthen those legs, and hopefully it wasn't too much for you. You can let me know if it was too much. So that's it for today, and we will see you shortly in the next video. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos with anyone that you think might benefit.